My name is Bassett. I will be your narrator, the one that tells you into the darkness. Here, I reveal tales that may keep you restless at night, tales you can even share with me at my email mentioned in the description. So switch off the lamps, put on your earphones, and let's commence our tale. This tale is shared from our audience, they whisper. Imagine this, you're lying on your bed, the room sunk in darkness, when suddenly you feel it, an uneasy sense that you are not alone. No sound, no movement, yet the air grows heavy, and the silence itself seems to whisper that another presence lingers in the shadows. What would you do in that moment? How would you hold yourself together when every nerve tells you that something unseen is watching? Over the years, many people have shared such stories with me, sometimes in trembling voices, sometimes written in shaky hands. And tonight, I'll share one of those stories with you. It begins in a small village, ordinary in appearance, but carrying with it a tale that was anything but ordinary. The narrator remembers his childhood there vividly. In that village lived a woman who had lost her mind, or so everyone said long ago. She had lost her children, her husband too, and grief had broken her spirit. She wasn't violent, nor did she meddle in anyone's life. She only sat in front of her crumbling house on a small wooden stool, staring into nothingness. And yet she terrified the children. The narrator and his friends passed her each day on their way to school. She never spoke, never raised a hand, but her eyes followed them with a gaze so cold it made their hearts pound with unexplainable fear. At night, it was worse. Even when they couldn't see her, her presence haunted them. Only later, as they grew older, did they realize there was something unnatural about the way she looked at them. The villagers dismissed her as the mad woman. Neighbors left food on her doorstep, pitying her loss. But over time, her behavior grew stranger. She no longer sat silently by her house. She began to wander, and most unsettling of all, she wandered at night. One hot summer evening, the power failed, as it often did. The narrator's family slept with their windows open. That night, he woke to see her standing outside, staring in at them through the window. His brother screamed, his parents rushed over, but she would not leave until his father ordered her away. After that, she returned often. Whenever the windows were open, she came, always watching, always silent. Then one night his father forgot to lock the gate. Past midnight came the sound of clattering dishes. They rushed to the kitchen, and there she was, crouched over their food, devouring it with her bare hands. Instead of anger, his parents gave her more food and gently sent her away. But after that, the village children no longer whispered. Everyone knew she wasn't simply mad. Something was wrong with her. One evening, a group of boys, including the narrator, decided to prove their bravery. They crept to her house during a blackout, peering through the broken doorway. Inside, by candlelight, they saw her talking, but she wasn't alone. She was speaking to someone, or something that wasn't visible. And worse, it answered. The voice was guttural and human. It scraped the air, responding to her words as if two people were conversing. When one of the boys threw a stone, she snapped her head toward them with unnatural speed, and her eyes locked directly onto the narrator's. Panic exploded. They tried to flee, but the gate slammed shut as if invisible hands had bolted it. Terrified, they screamed prayers, begging for release, and suddenly the gate flew open. They ran for their lives, never daring to look back. From that night on, they avoided her street entirely, but the terror wasn't over. Later, while watching over the fields, the narrator and his cousin saw her crouched beneath their animals. A goat twisted unnaturally, as if held by invisible hands. Then in full view, she tore it open and began to eat it raw. While a second presence growled beside her, unseen but unmistakable. They hid until dawn. The next day when they returned with their father, her hut was empty. No sign of her, no sign of the goat. Nights later, the narrator woke to footsteps on the roof. Peering up, he saw her crouched above, staring straight at him, making strange hand gestures. His scream brought the family running, and neighbors helped lead her away. But they knew now, she wasn't just mad, something walked with her. And then, one day, she died. The women who prepared her body whispered of a heavy, watching presence inside her hut. Even in death, something lingered. She was buried at the roadside cemetery beyond the village. But soon, travelers swore they saw her, standing in the road at night, signaling with her hands, or sitting silently in the dirt. The fear spread so widely that no one dared pass that way after dark. Finally, the villagers called for a wise elder from another town. He told them she had been deep in forbidden practices, feeding unseen creatures with the flesh of stolen animals. Her death had not freed them. They remained hungry. He instructed the villagers to make an offering of meat at her grave, to leave it there, and not look back. They obeyed. As they walked away, they heard the snapping of bones, the tearing of flesh, but none turned to see. After that night, the disturbances ceased. Her hut was sealed with a heavy lock left to crumble, and to this day when villagers pass by, they glance at that rusted lock uneasily. Because though the house is silent, the question always lingers, what still waits inside? That was the story, told as it was shared. Whether you believe it or not, that's for you to decide.